Hello and welcome back to Popcorn Chat. I hope you guys are doing well. In this week's video I'm going to be running through the films and TV shows that I watched in the month of March. Firstly, let's run through the films that I watched last month. So we have Float, Wind, Cruel Intentions, Rocks, Moxie, Calm with Horses, Cruel, Free Fire, Priscilla Queen of the Desert, which was a rewatch, Aquaman, Alive or #Alive, and the Blade trilogy. So out of that list, I would have to say that my favourite films would either be Rocks or Moxie. And ultimately they are very similar in their tone. They're very much about a group of young women and their place within society and the responsibilities. And Rocks is very much of a British view. It's about this group of London schoolgirls, and I didn't know anything about it, but I heard good things, and it's a lot about the social care, friendships, family. I just thought it was done brilliantly. It felt very raw, humble, and even very true to real life people, instead of this this other version of people that is normally seen in cinema. It felt very real, and I know a lot of the cast weren't actors before, and they got spotted for this role, and I think that really worked to make Rocks a great film. So as for Moxie, it's an American high school film. It was directed by Amy Poehler, and I think this is very much a film that I wish I saw if I was growing up in this generation, or even had it when I was younger. I mean, I thought some of the films that I watched as a young teen were very progressive, but this is something else. It touches on so many things, about modern feminism. The group of the friends and this group of Moxie are very dynamic. You have female relationships, you have transgender women, different races, different cultures. It's so brilliant. I thought the representation was brilliant from the casting aspect. But there were certain moments within this film that really had me bawling, really bawling. I don't know if I've got any photos or videos, but I was absolutely crying my eyes out at this film. Be it good or sad tears, just the emotion it made me feel, and how there were allies within the school and the pupils at this school as well. And it was frustrating as well with what they did with the female head teacher. So I thought this film was brilliant. I know it was receiving a bit of a mixed reception, but I thought it was a really, really good film and a standout out of last month's picks. As for my least favourite films last month, I would have to say Free Fire, Aquaman, and Blade Trinity, which is the third film in that trilogy. I was really disappointed with Free Fire. I knew from the trailer that it was going to be a fairly simple plot, and I thought that was an amazing cast. You have Cillian Murphy, Brie Larson. There's so many good actors in this film, and for me it just went on and on a little bit too much. Ben Wheatley films were a little bit hit and miss for me, but I was a bit disappointed with this. I think it could have done being a short film, to be honest. I don't think it needed to have as long a runtime as it did, so I was a bit disappointed with that film. And then I watched Aquaman, which was free on Amazon Prime. That was the only reason that I watched it. I don't watch many DC films, but I heard this one was a pretty good one. And to be honest, it wasn't that bad. I thought it was okay, actually. I thought the CGI was pretty good. There were some various choreographed fight scenes, which again just looked very unrealistic in the DC's world of CGI when you compare it to films in the MCU. I don't know. I thought it was okay. I'm sure it's an ideal popcorn flick film, but it didn't change my life. I have no jumping urge to watch it again. So I'm sorry if that's upset any people. I know Styled Cinema is a big fan of Aquaman, but I thought it was okay. Then right at the end of last month, I was able to watch the Blade trilogy for the first time ever, again because it was all included on Amazon Prime. So I thought I'd give it a go, and to be honest, I thought the first and second one were pretty good. Very 90s feel, especially on the first one. If you're a fan of The Matrix, I think you'll like this film. It's very, Blade wears these black leather trench coats, it's all dark and mysterious. He's got the sunglasses on. So Guillermo del Toro directed the second one, and you can definitely tell it's his film from the stylistic, gruesome, gothic creatures and the use of certain actors such as Ron Perlman, who we'll see later in the Hellboy series. I thought this one was brilliant, and I think the dynamic with the sort of the group. So out of the trilogy, the third film has to be the worst for me. It just felt super cheesy, more so than the other two did. I think Ryan Reynolds was a little bit over the top with his like sort of comedy lines in it, whereas I sort of pictured Blade as this dark, sort of very gothic, very sort of emo sort of character, and I think it just sort of contrasts it too much. And plus, Blade's hardly in his own film. The third film, he's hardly in it. It's much more about these side characters, so I was quite disappointed with the third one. But nevertheless, I would definitely revisit the first two films. So in terms of TV shows that I watched last month, I will be honest and hold my hands up and say that I only watched One Tree Hill. That was my main sort of obsession in the month of March. I was able to do season 2 and started season 3, or maybe even finished season 3 in March. I can't quite remember, but yeah, I loved it. Like, it really picked up pace. In the second and third series, we really get to understand these characters a bit more, obviously, but I really sort of understand Peyton a lot more. I feel really sorry for her and her sort of situation of what she's going through. Brooke is a much more three-dimensional character than we thought. I love sort of Hayley and Nathan's sort of, you know, music career, high school basketball, this sort of long distance. I just loved it. I think season 2 and season 3 have been brilliant. You know, there's not a series that I prefer at the minute. I think they've all been really consistent. So I'm in season 4 now, so when I report back next month, we'll see where I've got to on that one. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video of me wrapping up what I watched in the month of March. I know it wasn't very exciting in the TV section this time, but you know, I'm just obsessed, very obsessed with One Tree Hill at the moment. But if there are any films that you want to suggest that I will like or maybe have a strong opinion on, then let me know in the comments and maybe you'll see it in next month's What I Watched video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week for another popcorn chat.